What is a food chain?
A food chain is a linear sequence of organisms through which nutrients and energy pass as one organism eats another, from producers to top consumers.
What is a food web?
A food web is a complex, interconnected network of multiple food chains within an ecosystem, showing how energy flows through many pathways.
What is a producer in a food chain?
A producer, autotroph, is an organism, such as a plant or alga, that synthesizes its own food from inorganic substances using photosynthesis or chemosynthesis.
What is a primary consumer?
A primary consumer is an herbivore that feeds directly on producers, occupying the second trophic level in a food chain.
What is a secondary consumer?
A secondary consumer is a carnivore or omnivore that feeds on primary consumers, occupying the third trophic level.
What is a tertiary consumer?
A tertiary consumer is a predator that feeds on secondary consumers, occupying the fourth trophic level in a food chain.
What is a decomposer?
A decomposer is an organism, such as bacteria or fungi, that breaks down dead organic matter and recycles nutrients back into the ecosystem.
What is a trophic level?
A trophic level is a hierarchical position in a food chain, defined by the number of energy transfer steps from the primary producers.
What is a trophic cascade?
A trophic cascade is an ecological phenomenon where changes at the top of the food chain cause reciprocal effects at lower trophic levels.
What is a biome?
A biome is a large-scale community of organisms classified primarily by the dominant vegetation and characterized by adaptations to that particular environment.
What are the main characteristics of a tropical rainforest biome?
Tropical rainforests have high biodiversity, warm temperatures year-round, 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, heavy annual rainfall, greater than 200 centimeters, and a dense canopy structure with multiple layers.
What defines the tundra biome?
The tundra is characterized by extremely cold temperatures, a short growing season, permafrost, low precipitation, and vegetation limited to mosses, lichens, and low shrubs.
What is a temperate deciduous forest?
A temperate deciduous forest is a biome with moderate rainfall, distinct seasons, and trees that shed their leaves in autumn, such as oaks and maples.
What characterizes the taiga, boreal forest, biome?
The taiga features long, cold winters, short summers, coniferous trees, spruce, pine, fir, acidic soils, and relatively low biodiversity.
What defines a desert biome?
A desert biome receives less than 25 centimeters of annual precipitation, experiences extreme temperature fluctuations, and supports organisms with specialized water conservation adaptations.
What is a grassland biome?
A grassland biome is dominated by grasses rather than trees, has moderate rainfall, 25 to 75 cm/year, and includes temperate prairies and tropical savannas.
What is a savanna?
A savanna is a tropical grassland biome with scattered trees, distinct wet and dry seasons, and large herbivore populations such as zebras and wildebeest.
What is biodiversity?
Biodiversity is the variety of life at all levels of biological organization, including genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity.
Why is biodiversity important?
Biodiversity provides ecosystem services such as pollination, water purification, nutrient cycling, climate regulation, and resilience against environmental disturbances.
What is species richness?
Species richness is the total number of different species present in an ecological community, without regard to their relative abundance.
What is a biodiversity hotspot?
A biodiversity hotspot is a biogeographic region with a significant reservoir of biodiversity, greater than or equal to 1,500 endemic plant species, that is under threat of destruction.
What is an ecosystem?
An ecosystem is a community of living organisms, biotic factors, interacting with their physical environment, abiotic factors, as a functional unit.
What are abiotic factors in an ecosystem?
Abiotic factors are non-living components such as temperature, sunlight, water, soil, wind, and minerals that influence living organisms in an ecosystem.
What are biotic factors in an ecosystem?
Biotic factors are the living components of an ecosystem, including producers, consumers, decomposers, and their interactions.
What are the characteristics of a marine ecosystem?
Marine ecosystems cover 71% of Earth's surface, contain saltwater, support diverse life from phytoplankton to whales, and include coral reefs, open ocean, and deep-sea habitats.
What is an estuary?
An estuary is a partially enclosed coastal body of water where freshwater from rivers mixes with saltwater from the ocean, creating a highly productive ecosystem.
What is a freshwater ecosystem?
A freshwater ecosystem includes bodies of water with low salt concentration, less than 1%, such as lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, and wetlands.
What is a lentic ecosystem?
A lentic ecosystem consists of still or slow-moving freshwater bodies such as lakes, ponds, and wetlands.
What is a lotic ecosystem?
A lotic ecosystem consists of fast-moving freshwater habitats such as rivers and streams, characterized by continuous water flow and high dissolved oxygen.
What is a wetland?
A wetland is an area where land is saturated with water, either permanently or seasonally, supporting hydrophytic vegetation and serving as a natural water filter.
What is a terrestrial ecosystem?
A terrestrial ecosystem is a land-based community of organisms and their environment, including forests, deserts, grasslands, and tundra.
What is net primary productivity, NPP?
NPP is the rate at which producers in an ecosystem store energy as biomass after accounting for their own cellular respiration. NPP equals GPP minus R.
What is population density?
Population density is the number of individuals of a species per unit area or volume of their habitat.
What is carrying capacity, K?
Carrying capacity, K, is the maximum population size of a species that an environment can sustain indefinitely given available resources.
What is exponential growth in a population?
Exponential growth occurs when a population increases at a constant per capita rate, producing a J-shaped curve, typically under ideal conditions with unlimited resources.
What is logistic growth?
Logistic growth is population growth that slows as the population approaches carrying capacity, producing an S-shaped, sigmoid, curve.
What are density-dependent limiting factors?
Density-dependent factors are influences such as competition, predation, disease, and parasitism whose effects intensify as population density increases.
What are density-independent limiting factors?
Density-independent factors are influences such as natural disasters, extreme weather, and pollution that affect population size regardless of density.
What is an R-selected species?
An R-selected species is characterized by high reproductive rates, small body size, short lifespan, and little parental care, thriving in unstable environments.
What is a K-selected species?
A K-selected species is characterized by low reproductive rates, large body size, long lifespan, and extensive parental care, thriving near carrying capacity.
What is symbiosis?
Symbiosis is a close, long-term biological interaction between two different species living in direct contact.
What is mutualism?
Mutualism is a symbiotic relationship in which both species benefit, such as bees pollinating flowers while obtaining nectar.
What is commensalism?
Commensalism is a symbiotic relationship in which one species benefits while the other is neither helped nor harmed, such as barnacles on a whale.
What is parasitism?
Parasitism is a symbiotic relationship in which one organism, the parasite, benefits at the expense of the host organism.
What is an example of mutualism involving mycorrhizae?
Mycorrhizal fungi colonize plant roots, enhancing water and mineral absorption for the plant while receiving carbohydrates produced by photosynthesis.
What is ecological succession?
Ecological succession is the gradual process by which ecosystems change and develop over time through a series of community stages.
What is primary succession?
Primary succession occurs on newly exposed surfaces with no prior soil, such as bare rock from volcanic lava or retreating glaciers, beginning with pioneer species like lichens.
What is secondary succession?
Secondary succession occurs in areas where a disturbance has destroyed an existing community but soil and seeds remain, allowing faster recovery than primary succession.
What is a pioneer species?
A pioneer species is the first organism to colonize a barren environment during primary succession, such as lichens and mosses that begin soil formation.
What is a climax community?
A climax community is a stable, mature ecological community that has reached equilibrium through the process of succession and remains relatively unchanged unless disturbed.
What is conservation biology?
Conservation biology is the scientific study of the nature and status of Earth's biodiversity with the aim of protecting species, habitats, and ecosystems from excessive extinction.
What is an endangered species?
An endangered species is one that faces a very high risk of extinction in the wild in the near future, as classified by organizations like the IUCN.
What is the IUCN Red List?
The IUCN Red List is the world's most comprehensive inventory of the global conservation status of biological species, using categories from least concern to extinct.
What is habitat fragmentation?
Habitat fragmentation is the process by which large, continuous habitats are divided into smaller, isolated patches, reducing biodiversity and disrupting wildlife movement.
What is an invasive species?
An invasive species is a non-native organism that, when introduced to a new environment, spreads rapidly and causes ecological or economic harm.
What is the main cause of current biodiversity loss?
The main cause of current biodiversity loss is habitat destruction driven by human activities such as deforestation, urbanization, and agricultural expansion.
What is deforestation?
Deforestation is the large-scale clearing or removal of forest, converting forested land to non-forest uses such as agriculture, logging, or urban development.
What are the environmental effects of deforestation?
Deforestation leads to loss of biodiversity, increased carbon emissions, soil erosion, disrupted water cycles, and loss of habitat for countless species.
What is the rate of global deforestation?
Approximately 10 million hectares of forest are lost each year, primarily in tropical regions of South America, Africa, and Southeast Asia.
How does deforestation contribute to climate change?
Deforestation releases stored carbon dioxide into the atmosphere when trees are burned or decompose, and removes carbon sinks that would otherwise absorb CO2.
What is ocean acidification?
Ocean acidification is the decrease in ocean pH caused by the absorption of excess atmospheric CO2, which forms carbonic acid in seawater.
How does ocean acidification affect marine organisms?
Ocean acidification reduces the availability of carbonate ions, making it harder for organisms like corals, mollusks, and plankton to build calcium carbonate shells and skeletons.
What is the current ocean pH trend?
Ocean surface pH has decreased by about 0.1 units since pre-industrial times, from 8.2 to 8.1, representing a 26% increase in hydrogen ion concentration.
What is coral bleaching?
Coral bleaching occurs when stressed corals expel their symbiotic zooxanthellae algae, turning white and becoming vulnerable to disease and death.
What is sustainability?
Sustainability is meeting present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, balancing environmental, social, and economic factors.
What is sustainable development?
Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations, integrating economic growth with environmental protection.
What is the ecological footprint?
An ecological footprint measures the amount of biologically productive land and water area required to produce the resources a population consumes and absorb its waste.
What is a keystone species?
A keystone species is a species that has a disproportionately large effect on its ecosystem relative to its abundance, such as sea otters controlling sea urchin populations.
What is an apex predator?
An apex predator is a predator at the top of a food chain with no natural predators of its own, playing a critical role in regulating prey populations.
What is bioaccumulation?
Bioaccumulation is the gradual accumulation of substances, such as pesticides or heavy metals, in an organism's tissues over its lifetime.
What is biomagnification?
Biomagnification is the increasing concentration of a toxin in organisms at successively higher trophic levels of a food chain.
What is eutrophication?
Eutrophication is the excessive enrichment of a water body with nutrients, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, leading to algal blooms, oxygen depletion, and aquatic dead zones.
What is the nitrogen cycle?
The nitrogen cycle is the biogeochemical process by which nitrogen is converted between its various chemical forms as it circulates through the atmosphere, soil, and organisms.
What is the carbon cycle?
The carbon cycle is the biogeochemical cycle by which carbon is exchanged among the biosphere, atmosphere, oceans, and geosphere through processes like photosynthesis, respiration, and combustion.
What is the water cycle?
The water cycle, hydrological cycle, is the continuous movement of water through evaporation, condensation, precipitation, runoff, and infiltration between Earth's surface and atmosphere.
What is an ecological niche?
An ecological niche is the role and position a species occupies in its environment, including its habitat, diet, activity patterns, and interactions with other species.
What is resource partitioning?
Resource partitioning is the division of limited resources by species to reduce interspecific competition, allowing similar species to coexist in the same habitat.
What is an indicator species?
An indicator species is an organism whose presence, absence, or abundance reflects the health or specific environmental conditions of an ecosystem, such as lichens indicating air quality.
What is edge effect in ecology?
The edge effect refers to changes in population or community structures that occur at the boundary of two or more habitats, often increasing species diversity at the interface.
What is island biogeography theory?
The theory of island biogeography states that species richness on an island is determined by a balance between immigration and extinction rates, influenced by island size and distance from the mainland.
What is ecological resilience?
Ecological resilience is the capacity of an ecosystem to absorb disturbance and reorganize while maintaining essentially the same function, structure, and feedbacks.
What is a biosphere reserve?
A biosphere reserve is an internationally recognized area designated under UNESCO's MAB program to promote sustainable development based on local community efforts and sound science.
What is ex situ conservation?
Ex situ conservation is the preservation of species outside their natural habitats, such as in zoos, botanical gardens, seed banks, or captive breeding programs.
What is in situ conservation?
In situ conservation is the protection of species within their natural habitats through methods like national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and marine protected areas.
What is the greenhouse effect?
The greenhouse effect is the process by which greenhouse gases, CO2, CH4, N2O, in the atmosphere trap heat radiated from Earth's surface, warming the planet.
What is an endemic species?
An endemic species is one that is found naturally only in a specific geographic area and nowhere else, making it particularly vulnerable to habitat loss.
What is the difference between weather and climate?
Weather describes short-term atmospheric conditions, hours to days, while climate is the long-term average of weather patterns in a region over 30-plus years.
What is an ecological footprint overshoot?
Ecological overshoot occurs when humanity's demand on nature exceeds the biosphere's regenerative capacity, meaning we consume resources faster than they can be renewed.
What is the relationship between photosynthesis and cellular respiration?
Photosynthesis converts CO2 and H2O into glucose and O2 using light energy, while cellular respiration breaks down glucose with O2 to release energy, CO2, and H2O.
What is a dead zone in marine ecology?
A dead zone is a hypoxic area in a body of water where dissolved oxygen is too low to support most marine life, often caused by nutrient runoff and eutrophication.
What is the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD?
The CBD is an international treaty adopted in 1992 aimed at conserving biological diversity, promoting sustainable use of its components, and ensuring fair sharing of genetic resource benefits.
What is rewilding?
Rewilding is a conservation approach that aims to restore ecosystems by reintroducing native species, removing invasive species, and allowing natural processes to resume.
What is the difference between a threatened and endangered species?
A threatened species is likely to become endangered in the foreseeable future, while an endangered species already faces imminent risk of extinction.
What is an umbrella species?
An umbrella species is a species whose conservation indirectly protects many other species that share its habitat, such as the giant panda in bamboo forests.
What is agroforestry?
Agroforestry is a sustainable land use system that integrates trees and shrubs with crops and/or livestock to enhance biodiversity, improve soil health, and increase carbon sequestration.
What is the precautionary principle in environmental science?
The precautionary principle states that if an action or policy has a suspected risk of causing harm to the public or environment, protective measures should be taken even without full scientific certainty.
What is carbon sequestration?
Carbon sequestration is the long-term capture and storage of atmospheric CO2 in plants, soils, geologic formations, or the ocean to mitigate climate change.